Yo, it's Guido with a quick tactics tip for you. Today we're going to talk a little bit about circling and how you can keep yourself alive just a little bit longer and maybe enough to actually win the fight. I have an IS-5 barreling down on me. There's also a 168 that probably wants to try to come play. This dude's at full hit points and he's charging at me. I've already taken a hit in my Type 59G. Now my advantages are I'm a little more maneuverable and my gunfire is a little bit faster. He hits harder, has more armor, and is heavier. So I want to avoid him ramming me, and then I want to use my relative mobility to him to get around him. So we're going to watch how this goes. I'm going to go ahead and take a shot on the way in, so I want to make sure I get a few hit points off of him. And as he comes, I'm going to back out here, and I think a bit of a mistake on my part. I was trying to get one more shot before he closed in, and I might actually get that shot on him. But the other option here is to tuck up underneath closer so his gun depression can't get a shot. So let's see how that actually works out for me. Yeah, I get a shot. All right, so he tracked me, and I'm going to fix it. Because what I don't want him to do is ram me. So I immediately fixed the track. I did get my shot in there, so we've taken some hit points off of him. And I am lucky enough to have not lost any. Now watch what I do. I'm going to go ahead and olay this dude. If he clips me a little bit, fine, but he's trying to ram me as hard as he can. He doesn't turn very well, and I just get away. All right, so we do the olay. I've auto-aimed him, so that's one option here. Be careful with auto-aim with weird angled tanks because sometimes it'll just, it aims center of mass and sometimes it'll be aiming right at the weird angled thing. IS-5 is a little bit like that. I am running some APCR here. You also notice that unfortunately because of my habit pattern for fixing tracks, for the old manual version, 4.3 I believe is what it was, I tend to hit that automatically, and you'll notice that I'm about to load HE. So that is a mistake right there. But what I'm doing here then is I'm going to try to circle this dude, and he's making a mistake. He is backing up and turning his turret as opposed to just spinning his tank and turning his turret. Look how slow his turret is, and I'm going to try to get around it. Unfortunately, I can't quite do it, and I shoot my great big HE shot, so huge mistake. That's an opportunity for him right there, because all I did was 29. All right, so I come at him. We're going to go this way. I figured it out. All right, he does get a shot on me, but you'll notice that I'm starting to beat his turret, right? All right, so now his turret is off, and he continues to back and turn his turret instead of spin the hole and turn the turret. I believe the Russian tanks will move a little bit forward or back when they spin. It's based on how the tracks, whether both tracks move or one track moves. I can't remember how exactly what the difference is, but essentially, but what he's really doing is he's pressing S and turning backwards and attempting to get his turret on, and that's the slower way. He's not adding as much whole traverse to the entire traverse that he could, and that allows me to just get around behind him, right? The other thing on circling is to stay close. The closer you are, the higher line of sight you're generating, and the harder it is for them to keep their turret on. And I go ahead and come around here. Now, he makes a bit of a mistake. Sometimes you get goobered up with your mouse, and it switches sides, and all of a sudden your turret stops moving, but for whatever reason, he is not turning his turret anymore. So I put a shot. Now, as long as his turret's not moving, I'm happy to kind of hang out right here, and I'm backing up with him to keep close. All right, so one thing he's trying to do is he's trying to create a little separation so that his turret can get on a little bit easier by backing up, but I'm denying that by keeping him in close. Now, when he starts to get his gun on me, I'm going to start going the other way.
Blast him.
So we put another shot on there, and I know I'm probably going to eat another shot. All right, fantastic. I don't know if he was auto-aiming me or what was going on, very possibly, but I get a bounce, a little bit lucky again right there, and now we're going to continue the circle. We get his turret off. We put another shot in there with a horrible low roll of 188. Goodness gracious. That is almost as low as you can get, I think. Almost as low. That's not true. Yeah, 240. Let's see. 25. That's 50. Pretty close. Pretty close. To about as low as I can get. And then I keep alive long enough. The Su-130 comes in and finishes him off. So I went into that fight with 1,000 hit points. I got all 15. Well, we got all 1,500 of his. I got some of them. I came away with only eating one shot. Even made a mistake by pressing HE in there. Okay, so I could have probably had this guy dead a little bit faster even than this, or potentially a few more hit points out of it. Had it pinned and all that good stuff. But it's a good example of circling, and it's also a good example of how not to defend against circle. The other option the IS-5 had in this circle, and we talked about this when I did the T95 video, was to just back up against the wall. And the edge of the map works perfectly because you can't drive back in here. So back up against the edge of the map, and I can't go around him anymore. And so just some mistakes made on his part, and he loses all 1,500. There was a fairly new guy, not particularly good yet. Who knows? Could be great at some point. But didn't have a lot of battles, so really hadn't seen a lot of that stuff. But now you guys have, and you will be a better circling player. Yasu gets blasted by the CS-52. So for his efforts, he gets killed. Thank you for helping me out, my friend. That is all I've got today on Guido's quick tactics tips. We will see you.